Alright, hello everybody and happy Friday. Today is the day that we have all been waiting for. The day where I'm giving you my final thoughts on the Essence Counting Hearts palette in Love You a Latte. So I'm gonna move this light around a little bit. Okay, as I'm sure some of you are aware that watch my channel, this week I took on this palette and every day this week I wanted to do a look with it. So I have tutorials up from Monday and Wednesday. This look that I have on today is with the palette too, but I'm not going to show you guys how to do it because it's so fast and easy. I am going to point out the colors that I used, but it's so quick and easy that the Wednesday's tutorial was super quick and easy, Monday's was pretty wearable, this is pretty wearable. But I will say I used all different colors. That was the goal that I had too. I didn't want to do a look, really like it, and then end up using the exact same colors every look because that's kind of stale. That's not really what I was hoping to get out of the palette, you know what I mean? So we've got 28 colors here in this palette, and I believe the price retails, I believe the palette retails for $16.99. As you can see, you've got some more berry tones in the palette. This is definitely a warmer toned palette, but then you've got, you know, these two pops of more cool toned shades. But it's definitely a warmer palette. Now, as you can see too, a lot of the colors are brown. And that's something that kind of stood out to me at first and I was a little bit worried about, but I didn't think too much of it. So we'll kind of get into that a little bit more. So let me start off with swatching a couple of the colors for you guys because I think that is always a good measure of how they perform. So let me just do that. Okay, so here we have a few of the colors. What I do like about this palette is that really the shades are all truly very pigmented. There wasn't one shade that I used this week that didn't have a lot of color associated with that, so that was definitely, you know, on the plus side. With a palette this inexpensive, you do kind of worry, like, are they going to even have any color? Are they going to look like what they look in the pan, you know? So that is something that I feel like this palette did a really fantastic job with. On the flip side of that, once you are actually, you know, swatching the colors and utilizing the colors, they are a little bit powdery, and they can be a little bit flaky because of that. I don't think that's a detriment to this palette though. I think that the quality of the eyeshadows, the color payoff, the staying power, I think that that is outweighing in my eyes the not patchiness, they're not patchy, the kind of flakiness of the shades. So, you know, like I said in my Monday video, with every eyeshadow that you're going to work with, you're going to have fallout. So for me to say like, oh, there's no fallout, like with any eyeshadow, that's just not going to be accurate. With these though, there is more than maybe a typical eyeshadow. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I don't think that's to a detriment to this palette. That's just something to be aware of. Now I'm thinking, and this is something that I've been thinking about the last 2 days as I've been wearing this, what I have been struggling the most with this week is that while the colors in here are all very pretty, a lot of them are pretty similar. So you do have variations in the shades, but I guess what I mean by similar is you have a lot of neutrals with this palette. And that's not a bad thing, but I have realized that I like having color a bit more. And so because of that, with this palette in particular, you're kind of tied to more neutral-y looks. Now, I did some berry toned looks with this. I did the purple look on Wednesday, so you can get some more colorful looks out of it. But, you know, there aren't any blues, not any greens, yellows, oranges. You do have some nice variety of finishes, but not necessarily the variety of color that I, as a person, would really enjoy. But, that said, that's just me. I love color, so I am really drawn to palettes that have lots of color, like that BH Cosmetics palette that I did a tutorial with a couple weeks ago. that draws me in because I love being able to utilize all sorts of different colors. But if you're not the type of person that loves to experiment with more colorful looks, you tend to gravitate towards neutrals anyway, I think this would be a fantastic palette for you because you do get a pretty good variety of the colors that you're getting. You definitely have some lighter shades that are going to be great for the lid, for the brow bone. You also have some darker shades that are still good for the lid, but also it would be fantastic crease shades. You can definitely get some more brownie toned smoky looks out of this, and I definitely love that. So if that's what you're into, and maybe just occasionally you're looking for a pop of berry tones or a pop of purpley tones, I think this palette would be fantastic for you. And 28 eyeshadow shades, you really cannot go wrong with that. Like I said, there's a pretty big mixture of finishes in here. You have two that I'd say, and I pointed these out on Monday as well, that are more metallic-y in nature, probably your most shimmery shades. They don't quite hit metallic, but they're going to be the most metallic in this, and that's going to be this one right here and this one right here. They're just the most shimmery, metallic-y shades. I swatched them, they were part of my swatches. Of course, I've wiped off my swatches at this point because I'm an idiot, but those are probably the most metallic-y. The remaining shades are either matte or kind of satiny finishes, but I actually kind of like that. The reason I like that is because I think this palette is fantastic for beginners or for people that love neutrals, and I think that for both of those types of people, you maybe don't want the crazy, like, super shimmery eyeshadows. You want what you're wearing to be more wearable on a day-to-day basis. So I loved this palette. Will I continue to use it? Absolutely. Is it something that I'll gravitate towards every single day? No. Do I think it's a good value? Yes. I'm actually really surprised. Oh, and I figured out that I actually lied to you on Monday. I have this palette from Essence. I've got the face palette from Essence, but I also have these two little cream eyeshadows. They're Metal Shock eyeshadows from Essence. I've got one in 1 Second to Mars and the other is in Solar Explosion. So I'm going to go through what I did today, but I wanted to let you know that I do actually have these as well, and I actually used this goldeny toned one. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. I can swatch it for you, but I used this under my look today, and I think it really just made a huge pop of color. It's like just a goldeny toned, shimmery, metallic-y shade, but I love it, and it's the perfect base for these eyeshadows. Not that you need it. I did use an eyeshadow base every week, but you don't need a colored base. I just thought it was really fantastic for what I did. So what I did today is I took this shade right here and I put that all over where I put this on the lid. So it's essentially all over my lid. And then on the outer third of my lid, I have this shade right here. It's a little bit more berry toned, and that I took a flat brush and kind of just darkened up the outer third with a little bit of a warmer tone, the berry tone. And then for my crease, I used a mixture of two shades. So I used a mixture of, I know one of them. Okay. I used a mixture of this one right here, which is a little bit more gray taupe shade, with this guy right here, who's a little bit more of a true neutrally brown shade, and I put that in my crease. And then for my lower lash line, I went back in with this berry tone that I used on the outer third of the lid to darken it up, and I just put that and smudged it right under my lower lash line. I think the look turned out really well, personally. I'm going to include a picture of this look as well as the other looks that I have created this week using this palette into this video because I want you guys to see, just kind of your options. So if you're someone that loves neutrals, or if you're someone that's just looking to add some more neutrals to your collection, I definitely think that this palette is a great value for what you're getting. So yeah, I definitely do like this palette, and I really liked this concept and style of video. I think that I'm gonna do more videos like this and more style like this because, and the reason I did this is I feel like so often you have a beauty guru who gets a palette and they use it once and they're like, oh my gosh, I love this. But do you? Do you love it the first time and then maybe down the line you're like, oh, I don't really like it, but then we don't hear about that, So I feel like the more you get to utilize the palettes that you're, trying out, really the better you can see how they're performing. I know that Emily Noel actually just did a video about products that she had changed her mind on, and that's something that I personally really appreciated, because not every time is a first impression going to be accurate. So I really liked this style of video. I've really been thinking of getting the Anastasia Sultry palette that came out recently, and that'll be my first Anastasia palette, and I really have heard great things about it, and I kind of would want it to put it to the test like this. So if you guys have any palettes that you've been wanting to see reviews on, and see, you know, some serious honest reviews and long-term, not just one tutorial but a couple tutorials with it, please leave those in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to go out and purchase some palettes. You know, it's Christmas time for everybody, meaning myself too. So I would love to go out and do that for you guys. If you have any other video requests, make sure to leave them below as well. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel before you leave to stay up to date on all of my latest content, and I will see you guys next time.